I started calling my white coworkers by random white names. It all started when my manager, Kevin, kept calling me Jamal. My name is Marcus. I've worked at this insurance office for 2 years, and Kevin has called me the right name maybe 5 times total. Every email, every meeting, every casual conversation, Jamal this, Jamal that. The worst part, there's actually a guy named Jamal who works in accounting on the 3rd floor. We look nothing alike except for both being black. I corrected Kevin probably 20 times the first month. Hey, it's actually Marcus. Then I tried being more direct. Kevin, my name is Marcus, not Jamal. Then I tried humor. Unless you're planning to pay Jamal's salary, you might want to use my actual name. Nothing worked. But Kevin wasn't the only one. Linda from HR called me Dasan twice in 1 week. My cubicle neighbor Beth introduced me to her husband at the office Christmas party as Terrell. Even the receptionist who sees my name on packages daily called me Antoine when I picked up mail. I was venting to my girlfriend about it over dinner, and she just started laughing. You know what you should do? Start calling them random white names back. See how they like it. At first, I thought she was joking, but the more I thought about it, the more genius it seemed. The next morning, Kevin walked up to my desk with some paperwork. Morning, Jamal, he said, dropping the files. Morning, Chad, I replied without looking up. He paused. It's Kevin. Oh, right. Sorry, Kenneth. My bad. He walked away looking confused, but I could tell he thought it was just a one-time thing. Boy, was he wrong. I started calling Linda from HR Becky. She corrected me once, then twice, then eventually just gave up. Beth became Brittany, sometimes Ashley if I was feeling creative. The receptionist rotated between Madison, Caitlin, and Jessica depending on my mood, but Kevin got the full treatment. Chad, Brad, Hunter, Preston, Tanner. I had a whole rotation going. I'd switch it up every few days to keep him on his toes. The best part was watching their faces when they realized what was happening. Kevin finally caught on during a team meeting when I called him Brayden in front of our district manager. Marcus, he said, getting visibly frustrated. My name is Kevin. We've worked together for 2 years. I looked him dead in the eye and said, oh, wow. 2 years. That's crazy because I've been correcting people about my name being Marcus for 2 years, too. Weird how that works, right, Blake? The room went completely silent. Our district manager started choking on his coffee, trying not to laugh. Kevin's face turned red. That's different. How exactly is it different, Brock? That's when Linda jumped in. Look, Marcus, I think there's been some misunderstandings here. Absolutely, Bailey. I think you're right. She blinked. It's Linda and I'm Marcus. Funny how names work. Word spread around the office pretty quick. Some people thought it was hilarious. Others thought I was being petty. But you know what happened? People suddenly got really good at remembering my actual name. Kevin tried to write me up for being disrespectful. But when he brought it to HR, Linda had to explain to our district manager why Kevin was upset about being called the wrong name. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The meeting lasted about 5 minutes before our district manager told Kevin to grow up and learn people's actual names. Kevin barely talks to me now, which honestly is the best outcome I could have asked for. When he does, he makes sure to say Marcus very clearly, like he's proving a point. Last week, a new guy started in our department. During introductions, Kevin made a big show of saying, and this is Marcus, making sure to emphasize my name. Thanks, Connor, I said back. His eyes started twitching. The new guy looked between us, confused. Is his name not Kevin? It is, I said, just like mine's not Jamal. Kevin walked away without another. I started calling my white coworkers by random white names. It began with Kevin, my manager. He'd been calling me Jamal for 2 years straight. My name is Marcus. 2 years of emails, meetings, and casual chats. Jamal, Jamal, Jamal. The worst part? There's an actual Jamal in accounting. We look nothing alike except for both being black. I corrected Kevin constantly. At first polite, then direct, even sarcastic. Nothing worked, and it wasn't just him. Linda from HR called me Deshawn. My cubicle neighbor Beth once introduced me at the Christmas party as Terrell. Even the receptionist, who literally reads my name off packages, once called me Antoine. I vented to my girlfriend about it one night. She laughed and said, "You should start calling them random white names back." At first I thought she was joking, but the more I thought about it, the more brilliant it sounded. The next day, Kevin dropped paperwork on my desk. "Morning, Jamal." "Morning, Chad," I said without looking up. He blinked. "It's Kevin. Oh, sorry, Kenneth. My bad." He walked off confused. But that was just the beginning. Linda became Becky, sometimes Brittany, Beth, Ashley, occasionally Madison. The receptionist rotated between Caitlin, Jessica, or Lauren, depending on my mood. But Kevin, he got the full treatment. Chad, Brad, Hunter, Preston, Tanner. I switched it up daily to keep him guessing. The best moment came during a team meeting. In front of our district manager, I said, "Good point, Braden." Kevin stiffened. "My name is Kevin. We've worked together for 2 years. I looked him dead in the eye. Wow, 2 years. That's wild. Because I've been correcting people about my name for 2 years too. Strange how that works, right, Blake? The room went silent. Our district manager almost spit out his coffee. Kevin's face turned crimson. That's different, Kevin stammered. How exactly is it different, Brock? I asked. Linda jumped in. Marcus, maybe there's been a misunderstanding. Absolutely, Bailey. You're right. Funny how names work, huh? Word spread fast. Half the office thought it was hilarious. The other half thought I was petty. But guess what? People suddenly remembered my actual name. Kevin even tried to write me up for disrespect. But when he explained it to HR, Linda had to admit he'd been calling me the wrong name for years. The district manager shut the meeting down in 5 minutes flat. Kevin, grow up and learn people's names. Now Kevin barely talks to me, which is honestly perfect. When he does, he makes a dramatic show of saying Marcus very clearly, like he's proving something. Last week, a new guy joined. Kevin introduced me, emphasizing, "This is Marcus." I smiled. "Thanks, Connor," his eye twitched. The new guy looked at me, confused. "Wait, is his name not Kevin?" "It is," I said. "Just like mine's not Jamal." Kevin stormed out. I sat back, smiling. For the first time in 2 years, everyone in that office knows exactly who Marcus is. Story. My sister announced her pregnancy with my husband at my birthday dinner, expecting me to collapse. Instead, I raised a toast. I revealed the results of the fertility test he took last month, and suddenly everyone knew. Chapter 1, The Birthday Surprise. The restaurant glowed with warm lights and clinking glasses. My family had gathered to celebrate my birthday. And for a brief moment, I allowed myself to believe it would be a night of love, not cruelty. But then my sister stood. Her hands trembled with excitement as she clinked at her glass. My husband stood beside her, smiling like a man who thought he'd just won a game he didn't deserve to play. "I have an announcement," she said, her voice trembling with fake innocence. "I'm pregnant. And the father is." Her eyes slid toward my husband, who placed a proud hand on her shoulder. Gasps erupted around the table. Forks clattered to plates. My mother covered her mouth. My father swore under his breath, and every single pair of eyes darted to me. They waited for me to collapse, to scream, to cry, but I didn't. I lifted my champagne flute, calm as ice. "Congratulations," I said softly. "But before we toast, I'd like to share something too." Their smug smiles faltered because I wasn't broken. I was ready. Chapter 2, The Fertility Test Reveal. The silence around the table was thick, like a storm waiting to break. My sister leaned into my husband's side, her smile growing wider, convinced she had delivered the ultimate blow. I set my glass down carefully, my hands steady, my eyes locked on theirs. "That's wonderful news," I said smoothly. "But since tonight is about surprises, I brought one too." From my purse, I pulled out a slim white envelope. I slid it across the table until it rested right in front of my husband. His smile wavered as he recognized the hospital letterhead. "You remember last month?" I said evenly, "when you went for that fertility test. The one you told me was just routine." Gasps rippled across the table. My sister stiffened, her hand tightening around her wine glass. "Go on," I urged him, my voice sharp now. "Open it." He didn't move. His face had gone pale. So I leaned forward, tore it open myself, and read aloud, every word ringing in the silent room. Test results. 0 motile sperm detected. Diagnosis. Infertility. The words hung in the air like thunder. My husband's face collapsed. My sister's mouth dropped open, her hand instinctively covering her stomach. Around the table, relatives shifted uncomfortably, shock written on their faces. Finally, I raised my glass again, my eyes locked on the two of them. "So congratulations, sis, but you might want to figure out who the real father is." The table erupted in whispers. My sister's diamond ring, the one she had flashed at me moments earlier, now glistened with humiliation instead of triumph, and for the first time all night, I was the one smiling. Chapter 3. The aftermath at the dinner. The room erupted like a bomb had gone off. My aunt gasped so loudly her glass tipped over, spilling red wine across the white tablecloth. My cousin muttered something under her breath, and even my usually stoic father pushed back from the table, his chair scraping hard against the floor. All eyes were on my sister and my husband. My sister's lips trembled as she stammered. "That's not true. He must have taken the test wrong." But the envelope sat there like a loaded gun, the official letterhead impossible to deny. My husband's face burned crimson. He tried to speak, but no words came. The weight of the truth pressed down on him, silencing his arrogance for the first time in years. My mother's sharp voice cut through the chaos. "You mean to tell us?" She glared at my sister, "that you announced a pregnancy at your own sister's birthday dinner, and it isn't even his child." The shame was unbearable. My sister covered her face with her hands, her diamond ring flashing like a cruel reminder of her betrayal. And then my uncle, always blunt, let the words fall like a hammer. "So who is the father? Or are there several candidates?" The table went dead silent. My husband shoved his chair back and stormed toward the door, muttering, "I can't do this." My sister followed, tears streaking her makeup, but no one moved to comfort her. Not one family member stood by her side. They had come expecting to humiliate me. Instead, they left in disgrace. I stood, glass still in hand, and looked around the room. The stunned faces of my family slowly turned toward me, waiting to see if I would collapse under the weight of betrayal. Instead, I raised my glass again. "To family," I said calmly. "To the ones who stand by you, and to the ones who show their true colors." The clink of a few hesitant glasses echoed back, but I could see it in their eyes. The respect they had never given me before was finally there. Because I hadn't just survived humiliation, I had turned it into their downfall. Chapter 4. The Fallout. The lie unraveled faster than my sister ever expected. 2 weeks after that disastrous dinner, whispers spread like wildfire. Our relatives had told friends, and friends told neighbors. Soon, the story of the pregnant sister and the wrong husband was on everyone's lips. It didn't take long for the truth to surface. A coworker of hers, emboldened by gossip, finally admitted what many suspected. My sister had been secretly involved with a married manager from her office. Texts leaked. Photos circulated. Suddenly, her perfect family image was in ashes. Her fiancé, my husband, didn't take it well. He denied, deflected. But when the evidence stacked up, he packed his bags and vanished. His company soon learned about the scandal, too. And with his reputation in tatters, he was demoted. The man who once strutted around our family table could barely look anyone in the eye. My sister, meanwhile, tried to spin the story, saying I had faked the test, that it was all some jealous revenge. But the truth was undeniable. The fertility clinic confirmed the documents. The man she'd been seeing admitted everything when confronted by his wife, and his wife dragged him through a messy divorce that splattered mud on everyone involved. No one came to her baby shower. No one wanted to be seen near her. She became the scandal she thought she'd use to destroy me. Through it all, I didn't gloat. I didn't even speak. My silence was louder than any speech. But the community noticed. People who once looked down on me began offering quiet nods of respect. I had faced betrayal head-on and emerged stronger, while my sister and ex drowned in the wreckage of their own arrogance. One evening, I walked past the old family restaurant. There she was, sitting alone with her swollen belly, staring blankly at the floor as whispers circled the room. I caught her eye for just a second, then kept walking because she already knew. The toast I had raised on my birthday wasn't just a moment. It was prophecy. Chapter 5, The Aftermath. The silence that followed my toast still echoed in my ears, even days later. At first, I thought the fallout would happen quietly behind closed doors. I underestimated just how much chaos the truth would unleash. Her pregnancy announcement, meant to humiliate me, became her curse. Once the fertility test revealed my husband's infertility, the questions began. If not him, then who? Relatives whispered. Friends texted. Even our parents demanded answers she couldn't give. Within a week, her smug smile had vanished, replaced with trembling hands and tearful denials. But lies have a short shelf life, and hers expired the moment the other man, her real lover, was exposed. He didn't escape either. The fertility test I had revealed was one he had begged me to keep private, ashamed of the result. Now it was dinner table knowledge. His pride shattered. Worse, he couldn't hide behind his usual charm. Everyone knew he hadn't just betrayed me. He'd betrayed himself. Friends stopped answering his calls. Business partners quietly stepped back. His confidence, once untouchable, drained away until he was just a shell of the man who strutted into that dinner, thinking he could control the room. Meanwhile, something shifted for me. The same relatives who once dismissed me, the same friends who smiled politely while tolerating me, suddenly looked at me differently, with respect, with quiet admiration. They realized I hadn't been blindsided. I had been prepared. I hadn't collapsed under betrayal. I had risen above it, calm and sharp, cutting them down with nothing but truth. Epilogue: justice served. A year later, my sister was raising a child alone. Her lover had abandoned her. My husband had divorced her, and the mansion she once flaunted had been sold to cover debts. My husband bankrupt in spirit and in business. And me? I rebuilt my life on my terms. A new job, a new circle of friends, and eventually a new love. One built not on lies, but on mutual respect. When people in town whispered now, they weren't whispering about me. They were whispering about them. The lesson. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't a scream or a slap or a dramatic exit. It's one quiet toast with truth as the wine and betrayal as the hangover they'll never recover from. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Or should the storm have raged harder? Drop your verdict below. I read every single one. Hit like if you crave justice and share this story with someone who needs its fire. Subscribe to Revenge Exposed because here betrayals don't sleep. They hunt their owners. Every shadow hides a reckoning. Every mask breaks and every betrayal is answered. Stay sharp. Stay unbroken. Stay tuned.